Hello, my name is Andrew and welcome to a new episode of SpoilerView, where our sole purpose is to discuss movies. So this is gonna be the second episode of our Marvel Cinematic Universe Extravaganza, which means today I'm gonna be talking about The Incredible Hulk, which came out in 2008, just 1 month after Iron Man. The character of the Hulk first appeared in a comic book in The Incredible Hulk #1, which came out in 1962. Like most of the Marvel characters that we know today, he was written by Stan Lee and designed by Jack Kirby. The writing in the movie is by Zach Penn, who actually has written a lot of comic book movies. The movie is directed by Louis Leterrier. Actually, this was his third film as a director. I think he did quite okay. One thing that I like about the way that he directed is that he skipped the origin story. He didn't skip it completely, but just jumped over it really quick so that the movie could start with the basic storyline really fast. One thing that I don't like that much about the movie is that the dialogue, I think, is terrible. Other than that, I think the story was very good for first movie of the Hulk in this universe, and I think that without that kind of story that we were told in The Incredible Hulk, we wouldn't have had the Hulk that we had in the Avengers. The soundtrack was composed by Craig Armstrong. I mean, after you watch the movie, you don't really have the soundtrack in your head, and it doesn't stick that much. I don't think it was memorable in any way. And in this movie, we really had just the same kind of 3 different songs throughout the whole movie, and that was it. Dr. Bruce Banner is played by Edward Norton, who I did an okay job with the script he had. I think it's very cool that even when he's the Hulk, they were able to keep the essence of what Edward Norton's character was, which was the same kind of thing that they ended up doing in the Avengers. Liv Tyler plays obviously Betty Ross. She's basically Hulk's all-time love interest. She did a very good job in the role that she had. I actually kind of would want to see her again in this universe later on, kind of know what happened to the Betty Ross character, and obviously I would like Liv Tyler to play her again. Tim Roth plays the Abomination. I think he did a very good job. I love Tim Roth as a villainous kind of character, even though in the end he doesn't end up doing really that much. The main villain or antagonist in the movie is General Ross, who was played by William Hurt. I actually like very much William Hurt's portrayal of General Ross. I think it's a much better portrayal of General Ross than the one that we saw in the Ang Lee movie, who obviously doesn't belong to this universe. And in the end, he ends up being nothing compared to the Hulk, which is what we always see with people who confront the Hulk. Another character that I want to talk about is Tim Blake Nelson's Dr. Stearns. He is the guy that Edward Norton's character speaks throughout the film to, trying to find a cure for his Hulk sickness. But I think it's very cool to talk about him. They purposely leave a very loose end in Dr. Stearns because he is actually the character that would have become in a later version the Leader. The Leader is a comic book villain for the Hulk. It means that we can find this character become a villain later in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think it's gonna be quite funny to see Ty Burrell as the other love interest and kind of the loser boyfriend that Liv Tyler's character had before she reunited with Bruce Banner. I think it's very funny because, I mean, Ty Burrell is now in the Muppets movie. He's actually been in Modern Family playing this geeky guy in this stupid kind of role. But I think it's funny seeing him in, like, trying to be in a very serious movie. This movie is obviously part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, although many people don't realize it or kind of deny it. There are some things that connected directly to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, making the Avengers Hulk obviously the continuation from Edward Norton's Hulk, even though they changed the actor. I actually do prefer Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. I think it was much more relatable. Some things that show us that it's obviously part of the same universe. They actually show the Stark Industries logo several times. and it's the same logo that they used in the Iron Man movies. There's this discussion that General Ross and Tim Roth's character have, where they discuss the origin of Bruce Banner and why he ended up becoming the Hulk. They actually explain it in the same way that they explain it even better in the Avengers. He was trying to recreate the Captain America serum. They actually mention the super soldier. Even though they don't mention Captain America, they do say that they were trying to create the super soldier back in the 40s. Most obvious connection to the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the after credit scene that we have. We just find General Ross devastated because he had to let Bruce Banner go. In comes Tony Stark. He just says, what if I told you we're trying to make a team or build a team or whatever? And when he says this, General Ross kind of looks up, and that's it. What I find very interesting and very important for this movie is that it actually came out only 1 month after Jon Favreau's Iron Man movie. I think it's very important because of one main reason. It shows us that Marvel was already planning to make a whole universe since they started making both movies. They weren't just thinking of Iron Man, they were thinking of many characters at the same time and living in the same universe and interacting with each other. This is partly why the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been so successful, because they were planning very well their strategy. Obviously it's been a couple of years, and I know that it's bound to happen with many movies. The CGI in the movie already looks old. By now I think the CGI is already dated. This isn't a big problem. I mean, I love the movie anyways with this perk. The movie was made for 150 million, which is actually even more than what Iron Man cost. But this movie ended up making less money. It didn't lose money for the studio, it ended up gaining some. It made domestically almost 125 million, and worldwide it made 263 million. If we only counted the domestic box office, it would have lost money. And it was the worldwide audiences that saved the movie. It still didn't win that much money, but it didn't lose. I think in part you can blame the box office problems to the fact that we had already had a Hulk movie very recently before this one. Obviously comic book fans would come to see the Incredible Hulk movie, especially knowing that it was going to be connected to Iron Man, but I think the general population didn't want to see another Hulk movie, especially when Ang Lee's Hulk was so bad. The ratings for the movie are, I think, in a very deserving place. I think they're right where they should be. IMDb shows that it's 6.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes shows 6.7, and Metacritic shows 6.1. My opinion for the movie is that it's kind of a 7. I don't find it amazing, but I find it very entertaining. And also, what I do think about this movie is that it's perfect. It's a perfect fit for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I think it was a very good way to start the Hulk character in this universe. Watching this episode of SpoilerView, I hope you liked it. Please thumbs up that thing. If you want to see the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Extravaganza videos, please subscribe. Comment below telling me what you think I should do next after the Marvel Cinematic Universe Extravaganza. I'm still gonna be making the Marvel Cinematic Universe videos. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye!